Brisbane metropolitan population is recorded at slightly over 2.1 million people. The public transport network in Brisbane today consists of buses, trains, ferries and city cycle bikes. There is a smaller secondary network of private transport options which include taxis, pedicabs and Uber. Another growing area of personal transport is the car sharing industry. 1 in 4 people regularly catch public transport, 1/3 of these are train travellers while almost 2/3 are bus travellers, while the remaining percentage catch the ferry. In total, there were slightly over 150 million individual journeys made on Brisbane's public transport network last year alone. This equates to over 400,000 daily users. Trains usually run every 15 minutes during peak travel times in the inner city networks and drop down to every half an hour outside of peak time. With 147 stations along 740 km of track, Queensland Rail runs a fleet of 207 3-car trains. Each 3-car train is capable of carrying 750 passengers. Buses travel mostly along the major arterial roads. The Brisbane City Council has a fleet of over 1,000 buses currently in service, and each bus has the capacity to carry 62 people. That's the potential for almost 80,000 passengers in transit at any one time. Brisbane's ferry network has been called for one of the most efficient in the world, with its 21 CityCat catamarans, 9 cross-river monohulls and 25 terminals. With Australians being obsessed with cars, it's not surprising to find that there are slightly more than 1.1 million cars registered within Brisbane. Interestingly, however, is the 64% of people that choose to drive to work on a daily basis. 5 major road thoroughfares come from the north, and 2 each feed in from the west, the east and the south. The cycling craze continues to grow, and with a 5-fold increase from 86 to 06, this trend is set to continue. With that said, currently bicycle commuters only account for 3% of peak hour travel.
To develop a greater understanding of the way people interact with the current systems, it's important to consider both the modes of transport, their nodes, and the connections between services. We looked at the rail network, which comprises of several major lines funneling workers into the CBD. The bus lines, which consist of both road integration and busways, offer an alternate option for residents of the inner and outer suburbs. The ferry system, comprising of both CityCat and ferries, runs independent of the aforementioned systems. These all feed into various transit hubs, which on occasion offer cross-modal integration and connection. During everyday use, these systems interact quite well. However, with limited major arterials funneling into the central business hub, that is, the CBD, peak hour traffic consistently results in traffic jams, adding significant time to workers' daily commute.
Through our research, we encountered a number of pain points for the public transport users. These included ticket purchase and validation, journey planning, the last mile, reaching your final destination after departure from transport, weather considerations and the scorching Queensland summers, and security of person. Pain points discovered within existing infrastructure were cross-transport movement, peak capacity versus redundancy concerns for congestion, peak route usage versus capacity, opposing traffic flow, private transport such as cars impacting public transport reliability, no road flexibility, narrow roads which are difficult for cyclists and motorbikes to navigate safely, lack of designated cycling hubs encouraging car usage, lack of parking within CBD and high cost rates. In combination with an increasing population, these pain points will only cultivate further.
Looking forward, Queensland's population growth is set to continue. In 2011, the Queensland census recorded a population of slightly more than 4.4 million. In 2050, Queensland's population is projected to reach around 8.4 million people, an increase of almost 4 million. The census recorded Brisbane's inner city population at an impressive 236,000 people. By 2050, this is projected to rise to 430,000. This means that in 2050, Brisbane inner city will account for 5% of Queensland's 8.5 million people. Furthermore, the 2011 census showed that the employment count of Brisbane inner city was 360,000 people. In 2050, it is projected to increase to an enormous 590,000 employees.
With regards to demographics, we wanted to find information that not only presented the state of play today, but also provided some trending data that we could use to provide a calculated projection of what the future might look like. We uncovered a number of interesting trends, many of which confirmed some of our early assumptions. Firstly, there was a notable trend in the age of residents living within the CBD area. There was a significant decrease in the middle-aged bracket, 35 to 50 years, and also in the pre-work children. This, coupled with some information surrounding living situations, highlighted a move of young families away from the CBD and into a more suburban environment with more room to move. Education and employment were also explored. It was evident here that tertiary education plays a significant role in the CBD environment, particularly university undergraduate level qualifications. There was also an expected prominence of professional style employment, which had also seen marked growth. To summarise, what this highlighted to us was the shift of CBD environment to a more vibrant, dynamic and youthful type aesthetic, one that will promote an exploration of arts, culture and celebrate its multicultural influences.
One of the biggest problems facing Brisbane in the future will be how we're going to deal with increasing traffic both in and out of the city. Traffic in the CBD will increase to unprecedented levels, both inbound and outbound. This will put further strain upon the public transport systems and further clog our already inefficient and congested roads. Brisbane's town planning future is one of satellite residential hubs around the CBD, one in Hamilton in the north, Indooroopilly and Toowong in the west, and West End and Woolloongabba in the south. Each of these residential hubs will be filled with high-density living areas that are designed to channel residents into and towards the city for their jobs. Other development proposals include a large extension and new runway addition to the airport, the establishment of Logan and Springfield as satellite cities, and the bus and train tunnel from Dutton Park to Albion.
In the course of our research, we decided to investigate how the problem of moving people from A to B is done on a much larger scale, and so we looked to the 4 largest cities in the world: Tokyo, Japan, Seoul, Korea, Shanghai, China, and Karachi, Pakistan. These cities move millions of people per day and use a combination of methods to move people around. These cities were found to have a transportation network consisting of a number of tiers, the topmost tier being air transport and shipping, the secondary tier being coaches, buses, maglev and train networks. These services act to bring people from the outside of metropolitan area into the city. The tertiary tier is one of the most critical, and this includes the subway network and local bus systems. After this, we have a quaternary tier, which is the very final step of a user's journey and usually involves walking, or where there is a public bicycle network, cycling. Culmination of the research highlighted opportunities available within user experience, infrastructure, and the existing system. Within the user experience, exploration includes intelligent transport systems, ticketing efficiency including near-field communication and radio frequency identification, the last mile experience to final destination, journey planning, and efficiency into managing people movement. Infrastructure opportunities include flow segregation and road flexibility for cyclists and motorbike users, park and ride in combination with developing satellite parks, private vehicle limitations in regards to transit lanes and introducing congestion charges within a 5K radius of the CBD. Opportunities within the existing system address the pain points such as capacity, considerations for Brisbane weather extremes, planning and service status, and finally, security measures that increase safety and higher patronage rates.
Bam! I hope that goes in.